Morning, and thank God it's Friday. How are you? I'm so glad to be here this morning because it's a Friday morning. No other reason anyway. Okay, my name is Tijama Uche. If you do stand by, I'm going to bring you the first the first product of today, and that's the newspaper review. Stay. Welcome again. Joining me this morning to review the papers. Two gentlemen here. Kingsley Ugu, a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Kings.
Good morning, IJ. Good morning, Indian Anambra. Good morning, Nigerians. Good to be here.
Okay. And I also have Nonso Orapwe. Nonso Orapwe is also a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Nonso.
Good morning, Ndebanye.
Odema, welcome. And let's begin from where we usually start from. That's from our website this morning. The first story from our website said MPC seeks 32 billion naira for 2023 national census. And then Soludo presents 260 billion naira 2023 budget estimate to Anambra State Assembly. Anambra State government moves to demolish illegal structures at a Korka market. And finally from here, Anambra 2023 Appropriation Bill, State Assembly assures of expeditious passage. These are many more other stories making the rounds from our website, www.absradiotvorca.com. You may really want to join us. You go to our website and join us live on Facebook. Okay, gentlemen, it is time for budget. But before we look at the budget, MPC selected census for 2023 while we are expecting the national elections also hold in 2023. And they are asking for this huge amount of money for the census. How do you relate this? Yes, Kingsley.
Thank you so much, IJ. I think at this point, Nigerians can only say it is well. It is well in the sense that, yes, we are at a very critical point in our national development. So if we've decided to conduct census, and I say, if we, sometimes, citizens are not carried along. So it's all about whatever policy the government brings out, then everybody cues in. In that wise, I would say, yes, we have a national program, which is census in 2023. It's a good thing anyway, so to say, because it will allow us to plan well, especially as we are facing a critical time in our national development, which is election period. It determines how far we can fly. It determines how far, we could go in addressing the national issues. So, in that wise, I would say, yes, every arrangement should be put in place to make sure that the census becomes a success. But the idea of throwing up, bogus budgets, humongous budgets, without breaking it down is an aspect of it that actually doesn't go down well with me. Sometimes such situations rear its head even in our budgets. You see some items, being smuggled into the budget without explanation, without breakdown. Mm-hmm. And it stands. So I want to align it with what we are seeing here, because for National Population Commission, to come out with a 32 billion naira, budget for 2023 census conduct, well, it's a good thing, but they must justify that budget by their action and the result of whatever they conducted. So I think I rest it at this point.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, so let's merge these two stories. Soludo presents 260 billion naira 2023 budget estimate to Anambra State Assembly. And down here, the Anambra State Assembly said 2023 appropriation, the State Assembly assures of expeditious passage. Let's get two of them together and look at the budget that was presented yesterday by our governor, Professor Soludo.
All right, every state or nation or an organization or whichever thing you may call a group, such as Anambra State government has actually come up with a budget for 2023. And before you can revive the economic system in every state or nation, these budgets are meant to be. And when they come, it provides hope. It motivates the citizens of what is to come. And having done that, I think Mr. Governor has really motivated in the Anambra that we are heading to a better Anambra, because without that budget, I don't think things can flow. And so I want to encourage him more to make sure that all the necessary things accrued to that budget is well articulated and also implemented. Because as this budget has been presented, the next thing is to begin to engage the ministries, the agencies, okay? The ministry, the agencies, and the departments to begin to make, defend their budgets, respectively, okay? Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Youth and Sports and stuff like that, to come and detail what is in that budget and how they want to work with it. So I think it's a good one. Then appropriation bill for Anambra State House of Assembly, I think is good. I know they don't fail in such acts. Last time in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, 2017 or thereabouts, when we pushed for Not Too Young to Run bill, they saw it as something that can fly and something that can help the country. And within a short time, that bill was signed by the Anambra State government. So I believe this appropriation bill will also be done like that, because everything good is embedded in it.
Okay, the governor has contracted so many roads to be constructed. Do you see this budget? I'll come to you, Kingsley. Do you see this budget enough to take care of all those projects and beyond? Are we looking for a supplementary budget?
First and foremost, taking a cue, from my brother here, yes, I want to commend the state governor, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, because if you actually listen to the appropriation broadcast, you find out that he kind of zeroed in on those critical areas, that will affect our advancement. When I say our advancement, the advancement of the state. So road construction, he made it a priority. And not only road construction, security. So I think with these two critical elements, if our budget could address it and a kind of take it to the next level, I think within these 4 years, we are going to see a difference. And I want to commend him for at least seeing it expedient, to tackle those gray areas.
All right, thank you very much. Let's venture into the papers. The new National Star is our first paper this morning. And the banner headline there said $460,000 for future evidence. Tinubu belongs to drug cartel. This one is coming from PDP. $460,000 for future evidence that Tinubu belongs to drug cartel. Let's look at the riders there. Dismisses Kayemo's tax excuses. U.S. courts reports reason Tinubu invests public media interactions. That's coming from Labour Party. U.S. court report, reason Tinubu evades public media interactions, Labour Party. And then Buhari has said it, Tinubu must be president. Adamu, wow. Did he say that? Buhari has said it, Tinubu must be president. Okay, because what I read this morning while I was perusing the papers, I saw where he said he should vote anybody you like for president. Okay, down here, the big story, crude oil theft, blockade, rising sales, strengthening forex markets. Crude oil theft, blockade, rising sales, strengthening forex markets. And then as Naira exchanges 740 to $1 as of this morning. Punch is our next paper. Traders, forex crisis. Traders lose as Naira rebounds to 720 per dollar. Forex crisis. Traders lose as Naira rebounds to 720 per dollar. That's the story, the big story on Punch newspaper. Let's look at the riders too. Currency jumps from 910 Naira to 720 Naira in 6 days. How EFCC clamped down market sentiment, reversed Naira slide. And then BDC operators resist Naira rebound, hold back greenback purchase as if they have a choice. Okay, next paper is the Daily Independent. And the banner headline there says, why we negotiate with bandits to free hostages. IGP Baba, why we negotiate with bandits to free hostages. And another big story there says, INEC jolted by attacks on Abuja at their offices. Revive political parties, summon security meeting. There's too much attacks on INEC formations. I don't really understand what's going on. Okay, but let's start talking. Let's get back to where we started. National newspaper. What do you think that really happened? Talking about the sudden drop of the currency from 910 Naira to 720 or 740, as the case may be.
I think Kingsley can give more light on this because I think we have shared some conversation before now.
Hello. Okay, yeah, hello.
Good morning. That conversation.
Yeah, good morning, my dear. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Benjamin from Jos.
Your name is what from Jos?
Benjamin from Jos.
Okay, Benjamin from Jos. Welcome.
Yes, thank you, because I've been watching the there is no light here to see the headline, but I was watching the radio headlines or newspaper headlines. Because the some places where the ship went to our sitting governor of Anambra State, complaining about Peter Mpi. Because even if the governor wants to complain, not about the...
we have not seen any... Hello, Benjamin. Hello, Benjamin. You said you don't have lights. Otherwise, you would have noticed that you didn't read anything like that. You know?
Yeah.
You can discuss what you heard from another station in a different station. Please. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, I was saying that conversation, I think it's very interesting. So let's have that conversation.
Okay, Kingsley, can you put us through? We don't have enough time.
Yes, thank you very much, my brother. I think that was off the cuff, but then we bring it.
Yes, let's bring it to the...
So actually, we're talking about Naira gaining
ground
at the Forex market, from 920 to $1 to exchange as we speak here, 720 Naira. It's a good development, Okay. Yeah, I think every Nigerian will welcome that, But be that as it may, I want to tell Nigerians that, or rather the authorities, that Nigerians are not, they're not too comfortable with even the level we have gotten to, because it should disturb every concerned Nigeria.
I actually want to find out.
The level.
No, I actually want to find out, Kingsley.
Yes,
what do you think that happened? What made the naira drop to this level?
I am building to that,
No,
because
we'll have to be straight because we don't have much time. Please.
all right, you understand, that the rise was very spontaneous, and it is a reflection of many factors. One, panic buying in the system. Both those, the bureau de change operators and end users, traders that buy forex for their whatever reason, either importation or manufacturing. So those who need, forex, who need dollars, there was this kind of spike in demand.
Okay.
Remember that last week or thereabout, if I'm not mistaken, there was this announcement, or penultimate week, about
The
redesigning of the naira. It has implications. And if you study, the terrain well, you find out that from that moment on, naira never gained ground again. Rather, it began to lose. So as it is now, those who want to change, naira, and then have, dollar as a security to the present situation, the present policy, probably inadvertently did not know that at the end of the day, that same naira they dispensed to secure in exchange for dollar as their security will still bounce back. It will boomerang, because at the end of the day, they will have that dollar and that naira will get scarce. So I can assure you that even as we progress, there is this tendency, if the authorities will sustain the momentum, there is this tendency that naira is going to come down. And I can assure Nigeria that if the authorities know what they are doing, naira will come down. However, I will say that even if we get to 400 naira, I speak for an average Nigerian, we are still not happy, because this naira is our symbol. Every concerned leader must know that our naira should be given value.
Okay, I'm really yet to understand where the permutation came in here economically, because from the situation of things, it does appear there's high demand of dollar. So it should go up and not down. Do you understand my? So that's why I'm wondering what really happened.
Like initially, why I don't want to, stress on this is, he registered earlier that he's not an economist, and likewise myself. So we see it as it's happening to everybody. So there are some times and some things we cannot, personally, I cannot talk about or speak about, because I might be pushing wrong information to
Okay, but let's join us with this one from Punch that said that traders lose as naira rebounds to 740. What is the implication?
That one is something I can,
Yes. What is the implication?
As they lose, why would they lose is because, take for instance, an average trader who sells, let me say, phone, okay? Last month bought phone of, this phone is $2, okay? Last month, which could be about, what was the cost of dollar last 2 months? Should be 700 or
700,
okay?
Yeah.
And eventually this dollar comes down to 500 this period. Automatically the trader is losing. I don't know if you're getting it. So that is what I saw happening, and that is what I envisage even now that will still happen, because those who bought goods from China or wherever they bought it, take for instance what happened in rice. Okay, rice at some point gets to almost 40,000 naira, local rice.
More.
And more. Okay, what if there is this dollar thing reduces and something came up with about people buying rice less than that amount? Okay. Now, any average trader that bought 35,000 naira, later this thing drops. He will be forced to sell at the present cost in the market. Therefore,
definitely it's going to affect them.
It's going to affect them.
Okay,
so I think that is what they are trying to explain there.
Let's move on, gentlemen.
Nevertheless, sorry, it's still a hope for Nigerians. One of my friends was chatting me that she is afraid by December dollar will get to 1,500 naira per dollar. 1,500 naira. But look at where we are.
Yeah.
So but if by December it drops to 500, it's still something to thank God. Why we still hope that it will drop to 100, 120 as it were.
Okay, the Nation newspaper, how Tinubu will actualize plans on economy and security is what we'll have on the front page of the Nation newspaper. Okay, and let's move over to Guardian immediately and see what's trending there. 65,699 PVC burnt. Fear heightens after twin attacks on INEC offices. We're also going to look at that because I don't know what is going on. Are we going to have this election or not? Daily Trust attacks. INEC hosts emergency meeting today. Let's look at the riders there. Okay, records 47 incidents in 33 months. Hoodlums touch Osun offices. And then IGP probes attack on Atiku's convoy. Probing again? Thought they said yesterday there was no attack coming from the police. Okay, content. A court sets aside EFCC's chairman's conviction, and then media hosts roundtable on industry regulation. Elon Musk's takeover. We are closely monitoring Twitter coming from federal government. Let's just take the last paper and then we'll get back. Okay, the Tribune is the last paper. Nigerian Tribune. Hoodlums burn 65,699 PVCs. 904 ballot boxes in Ogun INEC office. What's going on? Are they preparing for another staggered election, or is this national election that all of us are preparing that's causing this problem? Kingsley, why the attack on INEC formations?
Well, it is purely a reflection of security lapses in our system. Because we are talking about fortifying our democracy, and some people are busy destroying the very elements that will strengthen our democracy. It is an irony of a situation. But be that as it may, I think the headline is clear. INEC office in Ogun State and Osun State, I think they came under attack, of hoodlums, within this week, yesterday or thereabout,
What could be the reason? They don't want the election to hold?
Well, it might be for various reasons, because one, you have to check the interest of those involved. And when you check the interest, then it will give you leverage to know who could be behind the act. So on this point, I will say that, yes, it boils down to efficiency of our security system. Yes, you might say it's a reflection, of bottled up angst of the people, but then it's not entirely so.
Okay, let's take this call. Yeah, hello. Good morning.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Welcome. What's your name?
Ejike, I'm calling from Malcolm.
Okay, GK, you're welcome.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I don't know why INEC should keep people's PVC in the office. If people's permanent voter cards are needed, INEC should distribute it to the people. Why are they keeping people's permanent voter cards in their office? They should tell us what they are up to. INEC should tell people what they are up to. This case has been happening, this incident has been happening on and on. They should distribute people's permanent voter cards to the people. This is what I want to put in here. They should tell us what they are up to.
Okay.
Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, Ejike. Thank you very much.
I was caught somewhere there, and it's a good thing that somebody actually contributed into this, because we are talking about voters' card, and this is the only thing that will guarantee an electorate to participate in the system. Just like the caller said, why would the authority not ensure that these things get to the rightful owners? It doesn't require rocket science. Yet, you see them there, piled up there. A lot of bureaucracies, in the process, stalling the very item, getting to the people that it should get to, and then serving its purpose. So what am I talking about? If you come down to East, for instance, a lot of people find it difficult even to register, to get registered in the INEC. And when they eventually do that, even to get their permanent voters card becomes another hurdle. So why is it that these things are made difficult for the people?
Okay.
It could be distributed to them in their various zones because their addresses are there. So why is it that we can't create, a very conducive environment to ensure that these materials get to the people?
Okay.
It could be done because if it is money.
Okay, let's move on because I think that they're in a meeting today. Maybe by the time the meeting is over, we'll find out exactly.
Actually, what I want to add there is that hoarding it or not giving out to people, has it really called for this level of destruction? Destroying it is not the best, but I don't think that hoarding, there are so many other ways we can, lure INEC into getting those materials out for the people. We use media, use peaceful protest to make sure that these things are done properly. To me, destroying those things, those materials, as important as permanent voters card, it's crazy. Something is beyond this act. And that is why we condemn violence. That is why we always carry our placard. Because I was carrying this if he said, we carry it, vote not fight. Election is not war. This is part of it. So what I'm trying to say is this. There are other ways these people can say, give us our privacies that destroy it. Now,
okay,
65,000 something.
We're almost off. Please, let's look at another story before we go, please. From the Daily Independent, while we negotiate with bandits to free hostages. This one is coming from IGP Baba. And then some of us are asking, what is it that you want to negotiate with terrorists with? Even if it means suffering 1 or 2 casualties, must a responsible government, a democratic government, negotiate with terrorists over what?
That is the problem we have. We run a policy. We run a policy that is very hard for us to implement. We make policies that are hard for us to implement. Not even that it's hard. Not that we don't know what to do. Our leaders knows exactly what to do in policy making and know how to execute them. Now I don't understand why they want to negotiate with bandits. Bandits, are they proscribing? I don't know which group I want to name them now. What are they? Are they agitating, or what are they placing on the table to negotiate? Is it the killing? Is it the extorting money?
Is holding people hostages.
Do you understand? So I don't know why they want to. So what I'm trying to say is this. Our leaders should sit around again and ask themselves, question, Makana, so those people who have the heart to even, nab government officials, nab people, disturbing people's activities in the community. And those people are inside they are inside the cartel of the government. They are members of the what's it called, the council governing the nation. So they should ask themselves questions and fish out those people who are giving support to these bandits.
Okay, thank you very much. The last question, the last topic on my watch to look at Kings is 2023. Get ready to be sworn in. Adamu Tinubu. And then says Buhari next to God in Nigeria. Our campaign will be issue-based. And the other place we saw the story was that Tinubu must be a president because Buhari has said that. Buhari is a member of the APC, but first of all, he is the president of Nigeria. So every other person that is contesting is a Nigerian, which of course, supposed to be protected by the president. So why would the president make such statements?
Well, like you pointed out initially, I have not actually read it authoritatively, but this is a campaign period, and a lot of issues, could, throw up, into the public domain. So it is left for you now to synthesize the information at your disposal to know which one is real. I think this is one of the major, how would I put it now, advantage, mainstream media has over social media. So it could be one of the social media or whatever. But since it has, since it has surfaced in our national daily, we take it to be so. But as it is, PDP made that statement, if I'm right? So, yes, Buhari is...
There's no PDP here. Adamu is the national chairman of APC.
National chairman of,
APC.
National chairman of APC made that statement. And PDP made... Hold on.
Ready to be sworn in.
Tinubu should get ready to be sworn in because
Buhari has
said so. And I read some other place equally, that somebody was claiming that, forget it, that everything, Buhari has endorsed Atiku as part of the North. So all these things, all these stories, being bandied about, but I think it boils down to what does an electorate want. Democracy is theirs for the take now.
Okay.
So if they actually want whatever, all this gibberish, coming out, from politicians and that, if they want that to influence them, it's their funeral.
Okay,
but
thank
if they
you.
want actually to take it up,
thank you. Our
PVC.
time is completely off. Thank you very much. Kingsley Ubu, a public affairs analyst, thank you very much for coming this morning.
Thank you so much.
And then Nonso Orapwe, also a public affairs analyst, I thank you for coming.
Thank you. Remember, leadership is a sacred duty.
All right, thank you. Well, my name is Sijama. You do stand by for other programs we have packaged for your viewing pleasure this morning. Welcome.